left the courtroom for the bond hearing for my son.
No message that they got that says where Durk says, y'all sent Quando yet? Nothing says.
This time it was very fair. The judge was very fair. He wasn't pro-prosecutor.
Free smirk, though.
Free smirk. But also,
it's a police platform. This is a police.
Just sit down for a little and decide, hey, maybe I'm not anybody else.
We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk.
The newest Durk court hearing just shook everything up in a major way because it didn't just reveal a possible release timeline. It exposed some real worrying signs behind the scenes involving more people allegedly talking to feds. The paperwork reads heavy and the situation looks way more complicated than fans expected. People who were inside Durk's hearing said he looked noticeably thinner. And on top of that, he reportedly cut his dreads, which immediately set the internet off with questions. Along with that came a long list of serious legal updates. The judge denied his motion to disqualify, denied the motion to dismiss for vagueness, and took the motion for a bill of particulars under advisement. The judge is now allowing both sides to submit extra responses, while the motion to dismiss count 4 is still being reviewed. All of this sparked major concern around Durk's situation and kicked off a heated debate on the No Jumper podcast, where everyone started reading between the lines. This is my last No Jumper. Durk told me I was supposed to come back up here with that. Now look what happened to him. That man got kids. You talking about look what happened to him. Definitely not happy about him. I wouldn't be happy if you go to jail, Adam, because I know you got daughter. Break down. There's multiple people who are no longer there for their kids as a result of that Durk allegedly called in until they put that on black and white. Sir, stop throwing stuff on a black man who's trying to do something right for the community right now. The feds have already put out a lot of information about this. You don't have to put it out. You don't have to put out. This is a major platform. You're not the boss of me. We talk about rap on here. I think it is well within our jurisdiction to talk about the fact jurisdiction. What type of policeman alleged to have ordered them? Free smirk, though. Free smirk, but also police platform. There's some police sit down for a little and decide, hey, maybe I'm not anybody else. We don't have no proof that behind the scenes, though. Durk's legal team sees one key moment as a win because prosecutors acknowledge the cooperating witness who allegedly showed them an iMessage group chat tied to F. Federal prosecutors are claiming Durk is facing allegations that he ordered hits on O Block members for allegedly not retaliating after King Von. And that claim alone sent shockwaves through the culture. Prosecutors are now saying they plan to introduce testimony from a witness who claims Durk gave the order. And that allegation is sitting right inside the evidence files, raising serious eyebrows across the culture. According to the documents, Durk was allegedly feuding with members tied to F because he believed they weren't retaliating the way he expected after King Von's passing. That claim alone sent shockwaves, and platforms like WAC 100 and academics jumped in fast reacting to the situation and breaking down what this could mean for the case life by basically saying he's guilty of for hire, and the only thing that yes, some of these things look suspect. Why you go there? Why are these people going there? Why you send this message? But nothing that ain't that there's no message that they got that says where it says y'all that yet nothing says that. I'm not you missing the point. They got a witness already cooperating on that. Then had one we just ain't seen what they said. It's 3 years one of the cooperating. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what I don't need too much more than that. One of is cooperating. Then in the paperwork, you got the conversation. They say they had it in and out. The other two was figuring out how they get the public debate exploded overnight with people questioning how solid this testimony really is. But here's where things get messy. Because new information suggests the cooperating witness may not be telling the full truth and could be playing games with federal investigators. Reports now say there's a real chance Durk could be found not guilty if this testimony falls apart. Court documents reveal the main witness allegedly switched his story, first claiming there was no bounty involved, then later saying there was one. That sudden change is fans asking if the witness is now saying anything just to line up with the feds and incriminate Lil Durk, or if he's feeding investigators bad information to throw off the case. Many believe this could be tied to Feedy, who some say was messing with the feds, while also trying to get himself out of serious legal trouble. That's what D did. He's basically saying, all this evidence y'all got against Durk got nothing to do with me. Why you got me charged with Durk? And that doesn't mean he's going against Durk. That just means he wants his case severed. And I'm telling you, if it's severed, it helps Durk because one of the main connective tissue to this conspiracy is saying that Durk told the saying, I ain't get told to hire nobody. And I ain't hiring nobody. You talking about why would I hire someone? That's his thing. Because of all this, some unexpected news just dropped in Durk's case. And for once, it's not all bad. Prosecutors announced they plan to introduce several pages of new evidence, which sounds dangerous on the surface, but could actually buy Durk valuable time to push for bond and slow things down. Now, let's be clear about what the government is alleging, because the charges are serious. Prosecutors claim Durk is being charged for allegedly hiring a hit connected to the incident involving Lil Tim. And they're also tying him to a separate situation involving an alleged attempt on Quando Rondo. According to the feds, they believe Durk was behind a 2021 gas station incident in Georgia, and they're trying hard to stitch everything together. What's really raising eyebrows is how they're attempting to use Durk's music as part of their case. In the court files, they point to a lyric where Durk raps, "They on my page like Slide for Vaughn," and claim it lines up with comments he later addressed on a podcast where he said he stopped reading comments altogether. Prosecutors are now trying to build a timeline by matching when the song dropped in October 2021 with when the podcast clip surfaced in May 2023. The issue is the actual incident involving Lil PAB happened in August 2022, which creates a timeline, and the feds say it connects the dots. Even though Durk's legal team strongly disagrees, behind the scenes, Durk's lawyers are fighting hard, filing paperwork again in hopes of securing his release. According to statements attributed to Durk's father, this marks his third attempt at bond, and his legal team is pushing every possible angle to get him home. Durk's legal team has now put an offer on the table so strong that many believe the judge might seriously have trouble turning it down. And that's a big shift in momentum. This all happened right around the same time prosecutors quietly backed off one of their biggest plays. The lyric evidence they were trying to use against Durk. That lyric where Durk rap told me they got an addy. They got the location. Look on the news. See your son screaming. No, right was officially thrown out. And that alone was a major win for the defense. Search is on for 3 people who police say at a Savannah rapper member of his entourage. It happened in Los Angeles, and cameras captured the aftermath. Applause, this man, a passenger in that car. Frantic at the Durk's lawyer didn't stop there either because he went public and straight up called out the feds, saying the charges being pushed are a joke and don't hold real weight. Still, while Durk waits behind bars, the pressure hasn't fully eased because federal investigators are continuing to dig deeper, stacking information, gathering more material, and building what they believe strengthens their case every single day. Cases as follows. So, there was an indictment that did not name him, right? It named others, and then there was an unindicted person. And then 3 weeks later, that indictment was what's called the first superseding indictment, and it does name him. The indictment was identical, except the unnamed person now became Durk Banks. And this is the really important part. The second indictment, what's called the first superseding indictment, only had one new fact. It had one new fact, and that was it alleged that there was a video by Durk that celebrated and monetized this. Behind the scenes, the pressure is clearly rising because prosecutors are now cutting deals with people connected to Durk, all in an effort to lock in the strongest possible sentence against him. That move alone tells you how serious the feds are playing this. And it's got the streets watching every update closely. It's now being reported that Ochia VNI may be cooperating, and the signs are hard to ignore. His court file was quietly updated showing he's no longer in prison custody, which usually means one thing, house arrest and a deal in motion. That update immediately set off alarms across the internet. What really made things wild is that VNI allegedly exposed himself. Messages leaked where he texted a friend asking for advice on how to handle a plea deal, and those texts spread fast. In the message, VNI wrote, "I'm trying to plea out to 32, which is the base for M for hire. The max is 43, which is life. I'd get minus 2 points for a plea, minus 1 point for an early plea, and minus 2 points for no background, meaning I'll have 27 points, which is 5 to 7 years. That message alone sent shockwaves. He continued by saying, I can't go to trial. I don't want to be done like them other guys, referencing what allegedly happened to Jam. And that part raised even more questions. But what made the situation even crazier is that after rumors of cooperation surfaced, VNI's own father reportedly called him out publicly. His father allegedly claimed VNI had a role in King Von's passing, and even suggested that Durk knew what was happening, which turned this case into an even deeper storm. Take my breath. He ain't responding going back to me because this is on a tablet. He on a jail tapping when I sent that to him. He ain't respond to him. I told you he can't take my advice because they playing. They made the self get caught. This is what come along with it. They want to get caught. Do you understand me? So, that's what you meant by trenches paint. Okay. What do you mean trenches? What? I know it was you that said that with the whole narrative about Bonnie snitching with the text messages like that. Yeah. I don't know who said that, but that was me. That was a focus. Everybody was trying to make it seem like that's what the text message is about. Tell no, that's just saying we're going to talk out to and this, that, and with me saying Van, some people like, man, what are you going to tell them something? I ain't going to lie. I said that in my video to know what the V name was for. No. He ain't going to tell him. You're going to tell just like you orchestrated this. And guess who you were? It sounds like a wild claim at first, but once you dig into the legal history surrounding Durk and King Von, the timeline starts raising real questions. At the time, both Durk and Vaughn were wrapped up in the same court case involving a man named Alexander Witherspoon. And that detail keeps coming back into the conversation. That case was originally headed toward trial, but just months after Vaughn passed, everything changed fast. The case suddenly ended in a private settlement, and Durk's charges were dropped entirely, which made a lot of people start connecting dots. Some fans began speculating that blame may have shifted onto King Von, since he was no longer alive to defend himself. And that alone sparked heavy debate online. From there, supporters started noticing what they believe is a pattern. They pointed out that Durk was reportedly on Instagram Live around the exact times when King Von, Lil PAB, and FBG Duck all pass away. Every time tragedy struck, fans say Durk was already live, which immediately raised eyebrows. Now, people are questioning whether going live could have been used as an alibi strategy. The theory is that if investigators ever asked where he was, he could simply point to being on Instagram at the time. It's all speculation, but it's the kind of pattern that has fans talking nonstop and digging deeper into every detail. Just when people thought it couldn't get any crazier, Vonnie's father wasn't finished talking and allegedly doubled down, claiming VNI was involved in both Lil PAB and King Von's passing. A statement that instantly sent shockwaves through the streets and social media alike. And VNI isn't the only name raising alarms, because now attention has shifted to D's younger brother Ted, who is reportedly cooperating as well. Rappers and fans reacted in real time with one viral tweet reading, "Please tell me this isn't real," showing just how unexpected this turn really was. The biggest question floating around right now is what exactly Ted told the feds. Ted is believed to have deep knowledge of F because his brother D.I. is widely known as being extremely close to Durk, which makes any cooperation look even worse in the eyes of the streets. What makes the situation even stranger is that Ted arguably didn't even need to be involved in this case at all. Reports say he was picked up at a store with a firearm that allegedly had an extended magazine. And from there, things escalated fast. Really? What about that? A man had a with extended clip. That's cool though, right? According to reports, almost immediately after arriving at jail, Ted allegedly began asking about cooperating and giving up information on people he knew connected to crimes. Many expected silence, but instead people say Ted folded almost instantly, leaving everyone stunned by how fast things unraveled. Hey, stop it. Stop it. Music, you gotta murder. I swear to God I take AM. I take everything. I swear to God, I tell you, I will tell you, please. I swear, please. Ted was reportedly placed into a holding cell and left waiting for an officer to come speak with him. And from that point on, the situation only continued to spiral deeper. You got to relax for me, because I can't understand what relax. What's the number you saying, man? We're going to see what we can do for you. All right, see what we can do for you. You got a flash, man? I'm going to get busy. Relax. Give me a no. I'm saying what you're talking about. I'm trying to get every new detail. Seems to add another layer to this already messy case. Even with multiple people allegedly cooperating against him, Durk's legal team isn't backing down at all. It was just announced that Durk has officially filed a new motion to dismiss, arguing that the second indictment is too vague to stand. And if the judge doesn't dismiss it outright, his lawyers are, demanding a bill of particulars to force prosecutors to spell everything out clearly. They're asking for specifics the feds usually have to provide. Durk's lawyers want to see the alleged coded language, the exact nature of the claimed bounty, the precise date and circumstances, and any proof that Durk personally ordered anything at all. They're demanding prosecutors show where Durk allegedly made an offer tied to Quando Rondo, what reward was supposedly promised, and the exact time and place it all happened. Normally, details like this are already laid out in discovery, but prosecutors are refusing to hand it over, which is making Durk's team question whether the evidence even exists. But while that legal fight plays out, something concerning just happened inside the jail. It was announced that Durk was placed in solitary confinement after an officer allegedly discovered a cell phone in his cell, adding another serious twist to an already intense situation. They got Lil Durk in a hole for basically some BS. And right now we're going to show the paperwork. They saying that he was caught with him a cell phone, and basically that's not true. They trying to keep him in a hole, do a lot of things that they shouldn't be doing or whatever. But they're trying to make a point because they're saying that me and him is privileged, and we got so many things going on. And but there's another serious reason the situation escalated, because reports started circulating that someone was actually after Durk inside the jail, and that's when things took a darker turn. Word spread that Durk was involved in an altercation behind bars. And almost instantly, Lil Baby tweeted, "I don't care about nothing else other than Durk right now," which only added more fuel to the concern. From there, the streets started putting pieces together on their own. A lot of people believe Durk may have been targeted on purpose, especially since around that same time, his close friend Glee reportedly passed away, making the timing feel way too close for comfort. Fans quickly began pointing fingers, and many believe it traces back to Quando Rondo and Lil Tim. The main reason people are making that connection is because Durk is currently charged in a case tied to the incident that took out their close friend Lil Pav, which adds another layer of tension to everything. On top of that, fans noticed that interviews from both sides resurfaced on the same day Durk was allegedly targeted inside the jail. Lil Tim made comments that raised eyebrows. "I was just protecting my little brother. When you did finally find out that it was King Von, how'd you feel? I was like, damn, if Brian did that stupid __ last night, still would have been a liar. That's how I was. But I was like, ain't no the type person I am. Like, I'm a humble person. I ain't no disrespect to like his mama, saying like that, cause I could easily get on that type of stuff, and then be clout chasing type, like I ain't that type. I'm a humble person, but it's like they ain't never popped that off. That would have never happened, like Quando Rondo had previously said something similar. Whoever on my side, they got kids and mama, that 100% love them. And at the end of the day, bro, all this bull that we talking about is stupid. That could have been handled a totally different way. It could have been handled to the point where a song and $3-4 million could have came out, or whatever. It could have got handled in a legit way in the music. While the statement sounded calm on the surface, many fans believe it's just them trying to appear peaceful and play nice, hoping the feds don't shift their attention toward them next. It's making people even more suspicious that two of Durk's biggest rivals just happened to drop interviews on the exact same day he was allegedly targeted. And that timing has the streets talking heavy. Too many coincidences lining up at once is why fans believe something deeper is going on behind the scenes. Unfortunately for Durk, being placed in solitary confinement is now working directly against his chances of securing bond, and that's a major setback. Still, several defense lawyers online have weighed in, saying Durk actually has a strong legal defense once this case reaches trial. They believe a large portion of the government's evidence could get thrown out under First Amendment protections for freedom of speech. Durk's lawyers are expected to argue that anything he said publicly or in music was meant to stir controversy, build buzz, and promote his brand, not signal real-world actions. First Amendment argument here, right? That this violates the First Amendment. Can you talk about that? Right, for sure. I mean, I'm expressing myself. I can say the things that I want to say in a rap record or any kind of record. And you could go back and there's country records and there are pop records and there are R&B records that talk about all kinds of things. It's just that there's this notion that with hip-hop, quote, glorifying, that suddenly now we're going to use these things to prosecute them. But does that mean that the free speech, the First Amendment, has gone away? No, absolutely not. He can absolutely rap about what he wants to rap about. And that doesn't mean just because your story, as they'll claim, that while using street drama to market music might look messy. It doesn't equal criminal involvement. According to that defense, Durk was never part of the actual criminal acts being alleged. That said, bond remains the biggest hurdle right now. Between the solitary situation and new reports claiming prosecutors want Durk to give up property and essentially drain his finances to qualify for release, the road to bond looks steep, tense, and far from guaranteed. No bond for Lil Durk. Let me tell you about what options he has left and why the bond was denied this time. Now he's in federal court on for a higher charge where he faces the possibility of life in prison. What that means is under federal law, it is presumed that you do not get a bond because the charge and the penalty are so serious. So your lawyer has to go out there and show why you should get a bond. Now, ultimately, what the district judge decided to deny the bond on was a couple of factors. There's a couple $1 million being put up, but it's not all being put up by Durk. Some of it is from the label, and ultimately Durk has a lot more money and assets than what's being put up. So, if I let him out on bond and he tries to flee, he's going to have tons of assets and money at his disposal. That fear right there is the main reason the feds are fighting so hard to keep Durk locked up, because they believe his money and influence could make him dangerous if released. Prosecutors are arguing that Durk's wealth gives him too much power, claiming he could either leave the country or interfere with witnesses connected to the case, and that concern is front and center in court right now. Federal officials are pushing the narrative that Durk's resources alone make bond too risky, and they've even suggested they're worried something like that could have already happened. One question that keeps circulating is, has anyone heard from Jam after he allegedly cooperated? People online have been asking why several figures have gone quiet, especially Jam, who disappeared from the spotlight months ago after being publicly labeled a cooperating witness on DJ Vlad's show. That silence has only fueled speculation and fear. A guy named FF Jam that was wired, very ironic name, joined the Jam, 12 years. Got out, interviewed, said he kept it real, brought him cars, gave him $50,000, right? This made mention that ain't no smart on his name. He ain't never been a rat, called a gun case. But eventually he flipped. Now listen close, because this is exactly why you need to stay locked in with us. If you want the real breakdowns, the real timelines, and the stories nobody else wants to touch, make sure you turn on notifications and subscribe to Rap Link right now. The streets never sleep, and trust us, we're just getting started. We drop heat every single day, and tomorrow's upload is going even crazier, even deeper, and absolutely unmissable. Smash that like button, share this with all your homeboys, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We'll catch you in the next one right here at Rap Link, where the truth of the streets lives.